Mr. Farrell, one of the boldest and most noted hunters of Okeechobee, and who has for 20 years made the border of the lake and the Everglades his home, on one of his periodical expeditions noted that what he supposed to be the pathway of an immense alligator. For several days he visited the locality with the hope of killing the saurian, but was unsuccessful finding him. His pride as a hunter was piqued, and his desire to obtain the hide of what he felt sure was to be one of the largest alligators ever seen in the section where alligators are noted for their immense size grew daily. He studied some plan to outwit it. A large cypress stood near its pathway, and he concluded to climb the tree and take a stand for his game. He accordingly took his position in the tree. Nothing appeared. He was becoming discouraged, but determined to give one more day to the effort. On the third day, when he had been on his perch an hour, he saw what looked like an immense serpent gliding along the supposed alligator track. He estimated it to be anywhere from 25 to 30 feet long and fully 10 inches to 12 inches in diameter, with the head joined the body and as large around as a barrel 10 feet further back. The creature stopped within easy range of his gun and raised his head. As it did, Farrell shot at its head. Taken by surprise, the serpent dashed into the marsh at tremendous speed, while Farrell kept up firing until he had emptied the magazine of his rifle. About 4 days afterwards, he ventured back into the neighborhood, and about a mile from where he saw the monster, he saw a flock of buzzards, and he went to see what they were after, and there he found the creature dead and its body so badly torn by the buzzards that it was impossible to save the skin. How convenient.
Yeah.
He, however, secured the head and has it now in his home on the Kissimmee River. It is truly a frightful-looking object, fully 10 inches from jaw to jaw, and ugly razor-like teeth. He described the animal as dark-colored on its back and a dingy white beneath, with feelers around its mouth similar to a catfish. He has gone back into the swamp with the intention of obtaining the skeleton and bringing it back, after which he will send it to the Smithsonian Institute in Washington. So that's what you got. I mean, it's, kind of like that last Okeechobee story. It's kind of,
Yeah, it's hard.
We got giant snakes. They're invasive species running around Florida right now, so I don't know.
Yeah,
and we know there were giant prehistoric snakes. Those are well documented. The ones that were primarily around here were giant sea snakes.
Wow.
But they did exist 35 million years ago. Whether they're still around now, I don't know,
Mm-hmm. Still,
That might play into some of this
interesting little
sea
story.
monster sightings that are happening around Sanibel Island, Florida, and Madeira Beach, Florida, which I'll get to eventually. I might as well go into them right now.
Yeah.
You say your grandfather lives in Clearwater, right?
Yeah.
All right. Madeira Beach is real close to Clearwater. And then you go about 150 miles south of there, and you're in a place called Sanibel Island. Now, in both places, there have been videos shot of what appear to be rounded manatee-ish looking humps. And looking at the video evidence, I think they may just be misidentified manatees.
Yeah.
Now, people that are not normally used to seeing manatees can mistake them for monsters.
Definitely.
Now, to demonstrate this, I'm going to read an article about a manatee hotline that's been set up near Gulf Shores, Alabama, because they don't see them there as much as they do normally in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they had a phone call from a guy that had a sighting of one and didn't know what it was.
And that's
This is from
in Gulf Shores.
a magazine. Yeah, this is from a magazine called Alabama Living. Let's see, it doesn't give the year. Anyway, it's fairly recent. So the article says, Alabama sea monsters. Large mammals around coastal waters, but fear not, by John Fleischer. I saw it roll in the water and didn't know what it was, exclaimed the agitated caller. It came up next to my boat and was almost as big. It slapped the water a few times. We were thinking of everything from a large alligator to a dinosaur, but I know it wasn't an alligator. The very excited caller described the nearly 14-foot-long animal as looking something like a giant beaver with a large flat tail. It probably weighed more than a ton, but it wasn't a dinosaur or sea monster prowling coastal waters, not even a dinosaur's relative, an alligator. The caller spotted a manatee, also called a sea cow. Despite the impressive size and dino-like appearance in the water, these animals are rotund vegetarians who do not attack people. Manatees are herbivores, said Elizabeth Hyde, manager of the Dauphin Island Sea Lab Manatee Sighting Network.
Mm-hmm.
The average adult can eat about 100 pounds of plants a day. They are large animals, but typically are not aggressive. Manatees can exceed 13 feet in length and weigh more than 2,500 pounds, as much as some cars. Unlike a walrus or sea lion, manatees never leave the water. According to legend, centuries ago, some sailors even described these plump animals as mermaids.
I've
Probably
heard that.
after an extended period at sea and numerous trips to the grog barrel. Not many people think about manatees coming to Alabama, but this is their historic rage, Hyde said. Manatees are not just straying into Alabama waters. The same animals are coming here year after year. We've seen evidence of mating herds in Alabama waters and animals actually raising calves.
That's great.
Yeah. Recently, the U.S. Department of Interior dropped the status of West Indian manatees from endangered to threatened, but the animals remain federally protected. The population of Florida manatees, the subspecies that visits Alabama, grew from a few hundred 40 years ago to more than 6,600 today, said Jim Kurth of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. About 6,300 Antillean manatees and other subspecies exist in Puerto Rico, Mexico, Central America, and northern South America. Many manatees live and migrate through the northern Gulf of Mexico, said Dr. Ruth H. Carmichael, a senior marine scientist with the Dauphin Island Sea Lab. Until recently, however, little was known about this species outside of Florida. To begin to learn more about where and when manatees reside in Alabama waters, the Dauphin Island Sea Lab established the Manatee Sighting Network in 2007. Despite their blubbery appearance, manatees do not like water colder than 70 degrees. Like ducks, many manatees migrate northward in the spring and head south to warmer Florida waters before winter. Most manatees that visit Alabama migrate up from the Crystal River or Tampa areas. The warmer the waters, the more likely people will see manatees in Alabama waters, Hurt says. Usually, they show up in Alabama in late March and depart by early November. The peak for manatee sightings here is July and August.
That's awesome.
So there you go. You know, I would imagine that there's probably a significant percentage of people in Florida that are reporting monster sightings that are tourists.
Oh, yeah.
That come here and are not familiar with looking at manatees and alligators and are misidentifying these animals from
Definitely.
a brief glimpse. However, some of these people that have been seeing the monsters with the manatee-like humps at Sanibel Island Beach are natives that are very familiar with manatees.
Wow.
So it's very confusing. You look at the videos. If you want to see the Sanibel Island monster video, go to YouTube or Google. Probably Google would take it to it easier. And punch up Sanibel, Sanibel, Island monster. And then you'll see a YouTube clip will come up and it'll say something like, sighting of giant monster or oarfish near Sanibel Island. And that's the video. And then the one for the Madeira Beach monster is, you would do a search under Normandy, Normandy, Nessie, Nessie, and that should take you directly to that video.
Nice.
But the unusual thing about both of these sightings related to the videos, what you see in the video looks very much like a typical manatee hump, and you don't see much else. And just based on what you see in the video, it's very easily to say, well, that looks like a manatee. However, in both cases, the eyewitnesses insisted that this creature reminded them of an anaconda. The woman that saw it and shot the video at Sanibel Island described it as looking like a 20-foot utility pole.
That's insane.
Now, this is really interesting because you normally look at a giant snake that lives in the water like an anaconda or a python, and they're fat, but they don't look like a manatee hump. They're not that fat, So that's the confusing thing about it. However, there was a video shot from the Amazon a few years back of this really fat anaconda that looked like it had just eaten. I mean, it's just, the size of the snake is just unreal. And not only is it just huge, but it's really fat. And if you look at the video and you slow the video down and stop it and make stills, you see these big fat humps that look for all the world just like these manatee humps and like the humps in these monster videos. So, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Like I said before, we know 35 million years ago there were giant snakes, 30-foot long sea serpents, living alongside these prehistoric whales. But that's 35 million years ago. Could they have, managed to stay hidden that long and us not know about? If they're around and we see them, maybe that's what we're seeing in these monster sightings. It's to be conservative. Looking at the actual videos, the most parsimonious answer is that these people got excited and were mistaken and were actually filming manatees. Now, I've got a video that was off YouTube of known manatees being filmed off Sanibel Island, and there's not a whole lot of difference in the video. However, I have a friend that also does cryptozoology research here in Florida, and he's also done some work at Lake Champlain, named Charles Pogan. Charles Pogan spoke to the couple at Sanibel Island that shot the video, and they were insistent that they had seen manatees, that it wasn't a manatee, and they seemed to be describing some snake serpent-like creature. I don't know. But anyway,
interesting.
Just, to go into the details, I'm going to read first the Madeira Beach report, and then I'll go to the Sanibel Island report and read you their actual descriptions.
Sounds good.
Yeah, just let me find it here.
Yeah, I'm watching I just watched the video. I think this is the one where it's kind of splashing around in the water.
Is this the Sanibel Island one?
That's what I Googled.
What is the name of the video? What is the description on YouTube?
The one here, most credible sea monster or giant oarfish.
Yeah, that's the Sanibel Island video. Yeah.
Do manatees normally splash around like that?